Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 1 day time frame for Bitcoin, because as you can see, we have a CME gap at 61.6K. Now, in the case that you don't know, typically over 90% of CME gaps tend to get filled, meaning that the price will reach this price level or get close to it. And you may notice as well that 61.6K is above the current price level, because currently we are actually trading at 60.2K. So when the market opens up on Monday once again, it would not be strange to see a move back to around that CME gap before getting either a continuation to the upside or actually getting that move to the downside. But again, it would not be strange to first see the CME gap get filled. Either way, taking a look at the support and resistance levels for Bitcoin, currently Bitcoin is trading inside a big level of resistance, sitting from 60,000 all the way up to 62.4K. So in the case that you see the Bitcoin price trading above 62.4K, then likely we would be heading up into this next level of resistance above that, sitting from 65 all the way up to 66,000 US dollars. However, if we break below 60,000 US dollars with confirmed candle closes, especially if we first fill the CME gap and then get a breakdown, in that case, it would be likely that we are heading a little bit lower here, for example, into this big level of previous resistance, sitting from 58,000 all the way down to 56,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price once again. However, you may notice that this level is marked in white and not in blue. And this is because right here, when we broke this level of resistance, we just shot straight to the upside into this next level of resistance above it. And we did not get a proper retest of this level of support, confirming that it is actually a level of support. So for now, I have it marked in white because it is still completely possible, in the case that we go down to this level, that we actually just fall straight through it, because again, we did not first confirm this as a level of support after we broke back above it. Now, in the case that we do actually fall through this level here, then the next big level of support below that is sitting from 53 all the way down to 50,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. However, there are some support and resistance levels in between the current price and these big levels of support and resistance right here. So let's go take a look at those right now. And what I am talking about are, of course, the Fibonacci levels for Bitcoin. Right here, you can see the 0.618 Fibonacci level sitting at 62K, which is currently acting as a level of resistance. And the pocket between these two yellow lines is what we call the Fibonacci golden pocket, between the 0.618 level and the 0.65 level. So sitting between 62 all the way up to 62.7K. And usually this Fibonacci golden pocket acts as a strong level of resistance. So this is an important thing to keep an eye on if you see the Bitcoin price reaching back up to this level once again, because you should know that it is completely possible that we actually get a rejection from this level and then get a continuation lower. So keep an eye on the price action here. Now, besides that, we also have the 0.5 Fibonacci level sitting at about 59.5K, which could act as a level of support, as it already did right here. So the main thing that I'm looking out for in the market right now, as well as over the next day or two, especially in terms of the momentum in the market here, is actually to see if we first break this support to the downside or if we break this resistance to the upside. Because again, if we break above here, then likely we would be seeing more bullish momentum after that. And if we lose this as a level of support, then likely we would be heading for lower prices for Bitcoin. One caveat to that is actually that we do have that CME gap at 61.1K. So right here, roughly speaking. So if the market opens on Monday and you see a big move to the downside before first closing that CME gap up here, then potentially we could be coming lower and then actually still end up filling the CME gap at a later point. So especially if the CME gap isn't filled and you see a loss of support here, be careful with shorting this move, because again, potentially we could just reverse back to the upside and fill the CME gap before then either continuing to the upside or to the downside. So that is just something to keep in mind. Now zooming out to the higher time frame, the 1 day time frame, where you can see Bitcoin consolidating inside this descending channel. And I wanted to give a little bit of a warning signal here for you guys, because technically we are in a downtrend. So we are making lower highs and we are making lower lows in the Bitcoin price. So this is just technically a downtrend, even though on the higher time frames, even higher than the 1 day, we are of course in an uptrend. But the reason I'm talking about this is because you should be cautious longing to the upside here, especially if you're holding open this trade for a longer amount of time, because again, technically we are in a downtrend. So you should assume that until we actually break the technical downtrend, we are going to continue to make lower highs as well as lower lows in the Bitcoin price. Now, of course, I'm not saying that we need to go straight down to the bottom of the descending channel once again. We can actually go all the way to the top of the descending channel here, which is sitting at about 68,000 US dollars. However, so long as we do not clear above this previous high right here, we are just technically in a downtrend, because personally what I use to confirm the break of a downtrend, for example, is at least one higher high, so a high above this one right here, and at least one higher low as well. So in this case, it would be something like this, where we have this low right here, then we have this low right here. So you have a higher low in the price and a higher high in the price. Then we can start talking about potentially an uptrend starting again, where we are going to continue making higher highs and higher lows. But again, until then, we are simply technically in a downtrend. So personally, the way I like trading in a situation like this is just leverage trading on the lower time frames, because the higher time frame trend is less important on the lower time frames, and especially because right now we are just in the middle of nowhere in this descending channel here. In my opinion, it makes the most sense to just take short-term trades in this scenario and basically profit from these moves to the downside and these moves to the upside as well by taking long or short positions. But that is, of course, not financial advice. That is simply me telling you how I am playing the markets right now. And if you are a crypto trader, then I recommend joining the Road to 1 Million Discord community, which you can join completely for free with the link in the video description. And this is actually a great community to be a part of, because a lot of people are trading crypto here every single day. For example, right now, people are even in this voice chat here, live trading together. So again, guys, come check it out. It's completely free. You can find the link in the video description. Lastly, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps for today. First of all, on this 1 week time frame, earlier today, we actually took out a big pocket of liquidity at about 61.7K that I also talked about in yesterday's video. However, right now, most of the liquidity on this time frame is to the downside, with liquidity as low as 54.4K for the Bitcoin price, with about $750 million worth of long positions that would get liquidated if the Bitcoin price reaches this level. Now, for me, it is a little bit too early to be telling you guys that you should really be worried about this 55K level, because there are a lot of support levels in between the current price and these levels below. But I would say if we fill the CME gap and you start to see us lose some levels of support that I talked about earlier in this video, then potentially you could be looking at this 54.4K level as an interesting data point to keep in mind. Because in the case that you don't know, typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity on this chart. And right now on the 1 week time frame, most of the liquidity is sitting at 54.4K. Although zooming out to the 1 month time frame, you can still see that little bit of liquidity right here, which is actually close to $1 billion worth of long positions. However, most of the liquidity is in fact to the upside, with close to $3 billion that would get liquidated if the Bitcoin price reaches 70.4K. And what I just mentioned earlier about taking out this big level of liquidity at about 70,000 US dollars still holds so long as we are trading inside this range. However, if we lose this as a level of support, so we lose this 52K level as a level of support, and more likely we would need to start looking towards lower price levels for the Bitcoin price. Lastly, before I sign off here today, guys, don't forget to come check out the Road to 1 Million Discord community if you are a crypto leverage trader. We have over 1,000 members inside this Discord community that are all trading crypto actively every single day. So again, come check that out. I highly recommend it, and it is completely free, as I said. So this has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.